Hello there, it's Keith Fitz-Gerald. There's not a lot going on in the markets that we haven't already, frankly, talked about. So I thought we'd change things up a skosh. Millions of investors are struggling with a problem they don't know they have because they can't think clearly, not because there isn't a ton of profit potential out there. Now, I see this every single day, and yet you know the rule if you've been reading my work for any length of time whatsoever. Chaos always produces opportunity, and the more the former there is, the more the latter you have. But how do you get there? To the profits, I mean. Like so many things in the investing world, the answer is counterintuitive, and not for nothing, deceptively simple. So here's the deal. Log off, think straight, profit more. That's the goal, right? But let's be honest, between the doom scrolling, the hot takes, the social media experts and gurus and pundits yelling all over each other, many investors are drowning in the noise and frankly starving for the clarity. So, case in point, and not long ago, I watched as a very, very seasoned investor panic sold into a perfectly good stock after it dropped 8% on nothing but a headline from a verified account that turned out to be an AI generated nonsense. No research, no earnings miss, just a tweet, a trigger, and a 10-second decision they regretted for months. Now, thing is, they're not alone. Think back to 2022 tech wreck, for instance. A bunch of folks dumped big names like Meta and Nvidia at the bottom, convinced by a social media mob that tech is dead and AI is a fad. Fast forward to today, Meta is up nearly 400% from those lows. Nvidia, it just didn't rebound. It rewrote market history. Palantir, same deal. Both have returned 864.68% and 973.20% respectively, even after all the selling. It's the same old story, which is why I want to talk about it today. The keyboard warriors got trapped into a cycle of smaller and smaller bits of information, which means they lost larger and larger bits of focus. Those who tuned out the noise, stuck to the plan, well, they won, and in many cases, big. So here's the deal. You want to make better decisions, smarter trades, and real progress, but if you're like a lot of people, your brain's stuck buffering because you've got 47 opinions, 12 alerts, 16 cups of coffee, and a dopamine loop all working against you. It's not your fault. The system is built to hijack your attention. You've been led to believe that smaller and smaller bits of information are what you want to focus on. So every tick, every tweet, every whisper from an influencer with a chart and a ring light. And Wall Street loves that. Why? Because while you're glued to your screen watching the 5-minute chart, they're carving up the markets into nanoseconds and running high-frequency trading algorithms that can buy, sell, and hedge positions faster than you and I can blink. It's not trading anymore. It's programming. Firms spend millions of dollars to place servers closer to the exchanges just to shave off microseconds of latency. They're not making decisions in real time. They're running simulations in advance, executing at scale, and using your emotional reaction as fuel. So here's the punchline. The more reactive and distracted you are, the more predictable you become. And predictable behavior is easy money for the algos trying to exploit that. So every time you chase a headline, overtrade a dip, or let social media shake you out of a good stock, guess who's on the other side of that trade? It's not a person. It is very likely a machine that never sleeps, never scrolls, doesn't care about your feelings. That's why detoxing your inputs is not optional. It's a competitive investing edge, and specifically a digital detox, one specifically designed for investors like you and me. One that helps you and I cut the static, think clearly, and make moves that actually build wealth. So here's the 3-step process I use, and I hope it helps. Step 1, you audit the noise. What I mean by this is that you start by identifying where the mental static is coming from, and that means taking a hard look at your digital inputs. Who are you following on Twitter, X, YouTube, or TikTok? What newsletters hit your inbox every morning? And how often do you check your brokerage app? Be honest. Many investors confuse activity with productivity, particularly new investors. But constantly checking prices or listening to conflicting hot takes doesn't make you more informed. It simply makes you more reactive. So here's your homework. 1, pick a day and write down everything you consume related to the markets, every headline, post, ping, and portfolio check. Chances are most of it isn't helpful. Some of it may actually even be harmful. And once you see all this stuff on paper, the path gets clearer. Invest in optimism rather than cowering in fear. Now, step 2, you need to set strategic boundaries. So now that you've audited the noise, it's time to build a filter. Ask yourself, what content out of all the stuff we just went through actually helps you make better decisions? Keep that and ditch the rest. So here's a super practical way to create structure that I find very helpful. You time box your screen time, meaning you set 15 to 30-minute windows every day to check the news, the updates, or the alerts. Outside those windows, you turn off the notifications. Feel free to unfollow freely. I mean, if somebody's content is making you anxious, doubtful, or frantic, and I mean even the big news agencies, if that's what's doing it, even if they're smart, cut the cord. And if somebody's being an unmitigated jackass towards you or the stuff you're posting, shed them. Life is too short to tolerate that kind of toxicity. Believe me, I get subjected to that a lot. It's not pleasant. One trusted source per category is what you want. One macro, one market, one mindset. That's it. Your edge as an investor doesn't come from speed. It comes from clarity. If you're a trader, that's a different matter. It comes from seeing what others miss because they're too distracted to notice the stuff you're picking up on. And finally, step 3, replace the feed with focus. Now, the hardest part of any digital detox isn't just what you cut. It's what you actually replace that with. So you've got a blank canvas now when you get to step 3. So fill it with things that actually sharpen your edge, not take away from it. Read a book that stretches your thinking. Revisit your investing plan. Update your assumptions. Take a walk and do not bring your phone. You still want your dopamine hit? Fine. Just switch sources. Use tools where the data is curated, the noise filtered, and the focus is always on what matters. Because here's the truth, and here's what most investors miss. Focus is actually the new alpha, and attention, your attention specifically, is the most underpriced asset in the market today. Now, the way I see it, digital detoxing isn't just about going off grid. It's about taking back your most valuable asset as an investor, your ability to think clearly and act decisively. So, again, cut the noise, regain control, position yourself to profit when others are stuck scrolling. You in? Today's bottom line is very, very simple, and it relates to what we've just talked about. Invest in yourself. Get your clarity back because your portfolio will thank you. Now, as always, let's make it a great day and finish the week strong. I'm Keith Fitz-Gerald. You got this, I promise, and I'll see you next time.